Whatever. Damn fine show.
Amen. 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 Cartwright, I want my son. That Red Whip is an old man. His only child lies there.
Ooh.
But his bloodline continues in your son. Nothing will stop him from taking that boy.
May as well become friends now.
Mr. Cartwright.
Friendly.
May I have the boy?
He's gonna present it to him. Ceremonies start like this. They're designed this way. They happen on the fly. You start doing shit like this in this way with the right spirit, this shit just happens on its own. It's quite amazing. I said, let him run up the stairs. And Cartwright said, she's dead. Because he went up there to see the woman. He loved the woman. There's nothing wrong with loving a woman. She didn't even snitch him out. Like, why was that a good show? Why it was a good show is simple. Because most people, young people, opposites of sex, maybe they're not even trying to not just be warm. And then they fucked. And when they fucked, there's going to be a baby. That's right. That is part of the process. The humor at how easy it is to make babies. If you've ever taken on a fat girl, I'm talking about a really large lady, and you had to be boy wonder for her, it's not always easy. You don't just... Sometimes erectile dysfunction isn't just a clever prescription you can buy on the TV ads. No, it's some dude's name. It's Ed. I know Ed. We have an Ed here. He hasn't been around in a while. I said, Ed, are you a snitch? He's like, yeah, I am. Look. And he sent the picture where they all had their little federal jackets on. FBI or whatever the fuck on the back. And I'm like, he did. He sent it. He sent it. And I'm not sure what they're doing. Other than there is things going on. There is definitely things going on in the background. Now, I don't go off into the woods and meet the people in the background and interact with them like that. I don't do it. So the show shows you, I said, let him go upstairs, because then he can come down with the baby. And he would have had something that he could have done that would have been right. Because it was an Indian woman and this white man. And when you started the show, see, I didn't have... All I saw was Hoss and his brother out in the woods, and sitting in a makeshift tent with her baby, just mean mugging the shit out of them. Never said a word, except baby once. Baby, and then died. So, we're not really sure what's wrong with her. But they didn't know who the white man dad was, so he presented himself. I don't know for what reason. Oh, because the dad was coming to bribe him to silence. Because that's how these people are. They take away our natural rituals, which are keys to our interpersonal relationships and our interactions. You do realize that. These are ritual acts that let society grow and prosper together. Because people can communicate and people can deal with their shit. And your physical, non-physical existence becomes woven into the realms activities, just like this. Just like this. Like, and I was talking about this in my video where I was saying, like, what is the one surefire way not to have sex with this girl? It is to, because you open the path to that immediately, directly, and then suddenly, because there can be no. The programming is like this. The people, like, now I'm telling you, this person's not who they want to be with. There's been a series of stuff. The topic is this: not building your relationship on some cold night because you have babies then. You don't want to make babies in the world that you're not preparing to. That's fucking not what the world needs. That's not what you need. And babies don't need to be aborted, so that's not an answer either. If they have to be or something like that because you recognize the horrible life, I'm not at odds with but it's not a good thing to have happen. It's not a good thing to have abortion centers that have Satanists working there chanting over fetuses they're going to use, because they do that. They do it. They didn't just get their foot into the door of society. I'm talking about these people, these same people that have shunned you and told you you're this, you're that, you're other, that's dumb. Then they begin, when they get their foot in the door, they start worshiping Satan openly. They don't believe in God, now they're worshiping Satan openly. That guy was coming over to pay the hush money. Now that kid, his son in the show was the father, and he did admit that his dad knew what was better for him, because he admitted he never saw the problem he was going to encounter getting with this Indian girl. Now, father of the Cartwrights told him, this is old elk, or, old oak, red oak. I think his name's Red Oak. He's like, he's their chief. The last of his line is in the ground right here. The mom. We're burying her. We're saying the prayers. The Indians come up. Nobody fucking invited them like that. They knew to come, and they were attending. But see, I'm also telling you that there's something that you know in it that's right, because he said, can I have the child to give to the elder? And that's where reparations really happen. You hear all this bullshit about people bitching about what happened to them in the past, and they're so far removed from it. And I'm talking about black people here, because it's all of us. We're all in this together. This is not. There is no racism here like that. There were mistakes that white people made. I don't connect myself personally to it, but I have a different interaction with it, because I do not like people demoralizing other people on some petty ass shit like that. It does make me sick. And I have encountered this, and there's many different reasons why it can thrive and why it can't. But I'm telling you, if you want to do something social justice warrior-y, there's nothing ignoble about that. It's the fact that it's a noble thing, when done right, is what makes it so difficult to put into a fucking trust fund, or have a person in the Black Lives Matter. They're going to be the leader. So you're going to see them fail, because their principles all fucked up. Because it's being used by the people who are actually out to do it harm in the end game. That's the irony. Because all these people that you have, for thousands of years, societies have tried to muster and figure out what to do with teenage horny male angst, and these other factors that are biological. The Indians had to. The Native Americans here, like the Mexicans that were Native Americans, whenever the avocado plant would become ripe, whatever time of year that is, it's an aphrodisiac. Their birth rates, their population would spike. And they started having to like lock their kids up during that time and not let them have it because I'm telling you, kids being horny in the woods is a recipe for babies. Societies have known that for a long time. The ability for a society to actually get through those things without actually culling a murder style culling of their people indicates the actual sophistication of the society. Because if you have to go shoot 3 of the 10 people in the head, or you have to. So there was these. This is the final story. There's some miners that are trapped in a mine in Mexico. This is news. It didn't make it to none of the news, so this is on the alternative news. These miners have been trapped for a while, or they had been trapped before, and they're veterans. I'm not fact checking this. I'm telling you as it came to me as I heard the story. In the first case of them being trapped, they had to work out underground to get skinny to fit through a hole that they did that. Now, when have you ever heard anything like that? I've never heard a story like that. You got out of the hole that you had to get skinnier to get through, and then you lived. Have you ever seen Auschwitz victims streaming out of a hole into the sunlit world? Because you could, and that'd be fucked up. They had to be bone skinny to get through this little crack door, or they wouldn't do it. If their bones was too big, they didn't make it. You can squeeze through a hole and get yourself through a fucking hole. It can be done, but it's not one of those things that is your life depends on it. Well, the interaction with life and death is why there has always been a person in the tribe that would regulate or interact with that reality. But for most people's day-to-day process, they don't want that in their day-to-day process. That is why you have such revulsion for the truth from certain people that are like clearly fucking they're under some serious trance shit. Everything's fine, I'm working at the place, everything's good. The world's on fire. They don't notice it, everything's normal, because the apple cart isn't fucked with. But now you're seeing this thing go around the whole world, this thing. So this is a worldwide ritual event, cull or not, window of opportunity. That's the opportunity, is because there are wounds to heal. There is self-esteem to reacquire and put into practice use. I just thought I would share, because I do find this, and it's actually an amazing thing that I think all people should have to deal with. Like you have the Knesset or the whatever in Israel, they all have to go to the service. I think that's a fine idea for a small nation like that. And a community tribe in the restructuring of tribes.